Now he needs one more strike.
The 10th frame for 300 is where you separate the pretenders from the real thing.
He has just made his 52nd 300 perfect game, but this by far the most valuable 100,000, ladies and gentlemen.
What sort of excitement could this week's Arena Finals have in store for us? Welcome to the Lewis Brown Athletic Center on the campus of Rutgers University in Piscataway, New Jersey for the finals of the Johnny Petraglia Open. Live, here are your 5 finalists. Our 5th seed is a 21-time titleist and the PBA's all-time earnings leader from St. Ann, Missouri, Pete Weber. His opponent in match 1 is a PBA Hall of Famer and the world's #1 ranked bowler from Stockton, California, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. Our 3rd seed won the last of his 4 titles in 1993 when he made his mark as the PBA's King of the Hill from Fort Worth, Ron Williams. Our semifinal match features a 6-time champion who won 2 arena events last year from Baltimore, Danny Wiseman. And our tournament leader averaged 243 this week and is after his first win since '93 from Bolingbrook, Illinois, Steve Joros and Bob Burton. They are bowling for a considerable amount of money.
You're right, Chris. The first match obviously is a premier match. It's 2 marquee players. We have $34,000 on top this week. And who knows, Bob Warren Jr. won over $150,000 last week. Tremendous action, and obviously 2 of the best players of the decade going at it in match 1. Here we go.
This crowd is terrific here on the Rutgers University campus. We're 40 minutes from Manhattan, 90 minutes from Philadelphia, and we're in the center of the greatest metropolitan corridor in the world, with Boston at one end to the north and Washington, D.C. to the south. Pete Weber. Four-pin.
All right.
The bridegroom. Pete, like Walter Ray Williams Jr., is wearing a wireless microphone. And here's #1 in the world. Ten-pin.
Little different start than we had last week, Chris, where both players started with 5 in a row, and obviously Bob Warren Jr. went off the sheet for 300.
Now moving to the left of center, cross lane, 10-pin. So, Butch Soper, our statistician today, tells us we're all even.
Serious. Come on.
Playing a bit for the crowd, Walter Ray usually is pretty calm.
You're right, Chris, and normally Walter Ray is calm, but Weber gave him a pretty good whipping in the match game portion of the tournament yesterday, and I think he's trying to get to Weber. Remember, Weber is the all-time leading money winner. He's the guy that Walter Ray is really trying to catch.
Either won that match, as Bo indicated, 255 to 235. Can be tough.
Weber with the patented big hook. out to almost the edge of the lane, back into perfect angle on the pocket as you see the ball striking the 1, 3, 5, and 9 pins. A perfect strike. The ball only strikes 4 pins. They do the rest of the damage.
Oh, big double for the Missourian. That gives him a 10-pin lead early, but Walter Ray is back up and can even it again. Mike Sands is on the PA mic here in the arena, the center, informing the fans here.
The new bride, another new bride,
yes.
Paige Pennington Williams. Got married in Las Vegas earlier in the year.
His command. Nope.
You see Walter on the extreme outside line, just outside the first arrow. Not as big a hook as Weber. Head pin goes to sideboard, jumbles over around the 4-5, but does not take out the 7. This man was voted the best spare shooter on tour. Has a lot of single pin spares and great technique.
Okay, 1 pin separating the 2 greats, Walter Ray and Pete Weber. You know, there are many lovely spots on the Rutgers campus. Here now is a look at one of them. Tiny gymnasts showing their young skills, and who knows, maybe another Nadia Comaneci or Mary Lou Retton. All this happening at the Rutgers Athletic Center, where we're into the finals of the Johnny Petraglia Open with Pete Weber leading by 1 pin, doubled up, shooting in the 4th frame. Now an 11-pin lead. Talk to him, Pete.
Think about it.
Good stuff from Peter, getting a full handful that time, driving the 9-pin straight back. And 2 years ago, Chris, Pete was ranked 11th in the world. He's dropped to 43rd in almost a year, and really his problem has been speed control. If he keeps his speed up, he'll be devastated.
There is Tracy, his bride. Pete is really talking it up. He's a man that last year did mostly regional tournaments and won 5.
Come on, baby.
Okay, next Saturday, ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour rolls into New York. Jess Stayrook will try to defend his title at the Bud Light Championship. That's next Saturday at 3, 2 Central and Pacific, right here on ABC. Arena Bowling.
The book on Walter Ray Williams Jr. is he's most dangerous when behind. He now trails by 21. Time to get going.
Like that, Nelson?
That's what it takes.
Come in, Mark Roth. A 7-10, Nelson.
Been converted 3 times in the PBA Tour and televised finals. Mark Roth was the first to do it. We see it here almost a decade and a half ago. Mark in the audience today. Kind of like that.
No kickback. 10 over to the 7. So Pete has a disastrous open frame. There is Mark. He's here live, and he's got a little knee problem.
Well, he's had knee problems, and he's with his good friend Peter Hakem there, who is also an excellent PBA player.
Second 4 of the afternoon for Pete Weber.
Come on.
Pete's
What was
varying
that?
speed is reflected in his ball being highlight. That's the only problem he's had with his game. You see a little softer here than the previous frame, goes up high and leaves the 4-pin. The previous frame, a little too much speed, leaves the 7-10.
Okay, 3-pin lead by Walter Ray Williams, Jr. We're in New Jersey. In fact, we're on the campus of Rutgers University, where springtime signals the start of the college football season. The Inferno, a 9-piece rock group here in Rutgers University, bring us back, and they are tough. Recording artists. And so is this man tough on the bowling lanes. He has a double up leading by 3 over Pete Weber, first match. An 8-pin for Walter Ray. I bet he'd like to say more to it. Here you see, kind of strange. Well, it is for him. Many of us leave 8 pins. Okay. He is marked with a spare.
Come on. Carry. Yep.
Yep, another turn. 10, rather. Here's a man who turned 1,674,884. Number 2 behind Pete Weber's opponent here today, 1,759,485. Two great ones. They really have raised the level of bowling all over the world with their tremendous skills. Walter Ray not happy with a spare in the 8th frame, only a 1-pin lead. Spare up now for Pete. He's shooting in the 8th. Still anybody's match. Oh. How can it happen?
Well, Chris, at one time he had the 3, 4, 7, 10s. And actually the 4-pin falling out makes it a little easier, but once again he has to get the ball to the right of the 3-pin, slide the 3 into the 7, the ball take out the 10. Right now Walter Ray Williams Jr. has to has a 4-pin lead if indeed Pete converts.
Robbed.
My break. That's my break.
Pete, don't get that dauber down.
Boy, he's a confidence bowler, isn't he, Chris? When
Yes.
he's going good, he's just phenomenal.
Great.
When he thinks things are
Get
going
another
against
good
his
break
way, he struggles.
My goodness. My goodness sakes. An 8-10 now. Well, Pete, that's being a new bridegroom. Count it up.
Well, what we have here,
Obviously, I've done something wrong today.
as you hear Pete say, is bad luck. It's just long oil, Chris. The oil is farther down the lane. The ball doesn't take the same break point that we had last week, and the PBA varies the lane condition every week as wife Tracy looks on. Pete, 2 bad breaks, but you got to live with those on the tour. Walter Ray can take advantage and take a 26-pin lead if he strikes here in the 9th.
Good.
So that gives tonight at 8, 7 Central on a special edition of ABC's Wide World of Sports, our world champions will dazzle you in special performances from the World Figure Skating Championships presented by MasterCard. Then you can experience the miracle of birth with Mary Lou Retton, Anita Baker, and Mary Lou Henner. We're Having a Baby is the name of the show.
Walter Ray Williams with 9 on the first ball. That's Lock City. Only needed 8. If he spares and strikes 217, the best Weber can do is 201.
And WR will meet Ron Williams here in the Petraglia Open. Don't forget the 42 games leading up to these finals were contested at Carolere Lanes, Livingston's Emporium here in New Jersey.
Rewarding victory for Walter Ray, the man he's chasing for the all-time money. Pete Weber still trying to break out of that slump it's been mired in the last 2 years.
217 for Walter Ray. Attaboy, Pete.
Weber just finishing out here. 217 already in the bag for Walter Ray. Peter with a strike here. Possible 201.
Then just took it right out of me or something. Not even.
Not your call.
Well, those other things, those symmetrical things I left, I mean, I really didn't think I threw it that bad.
What a description of his splits, those symmetrical things.
So Walter Ray Williams, the winner, 217. Pete Weber waves to the crowd, notching a 201. This ABC Sports presentation of Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
The Professional Bowlers Tour on ABC Sports. Brought to you by Brunswick. Get in the zone with Brunswick. AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. And Bud Light, official sponsor of the 1996 U.S. Olympic team. Make it a Bud Light.
Rutgers University in New Jersey. Our first match is over, 217 to 201. The two greats, Walter Ray Williams, reigning. He'll meet Ron Williams now, and in our booth is somebody was a little different last week, 300 to 279. Here's Mr. 300. What was your week like, Bob Learn?
It was tough. You know, bowling on cloud 9 is not as easy as it looks.
You look great on Good Morning America, and you look great last Saturday, too.
I had a lot of fun, you know, just, I felt like Walter Ray all week, you know, with all those people.
Bob, as you got up there in the 12th shot, was there any thoughts you had going through your mind? I mean, one shot, an opportunity of a lifetime.
Totally positive. Never thought negative about anything. Went up there and said, you know.
Now here's your championship game.
Just hamming it up a little bit, you know. Just a dream come true in front of everybody at home and have my family with me, and it was just great, you know, just a dream come true. You just can't write better scripts than that, and I just feel really blessed that I had the opportunity to do that, especially at home.
Well, good stuff, Bob, and good luck with the rest of the tour. And a quick analysis of the championship here this week is Kerry's not quite as good.
Not quite as good, you know. I mean, last week was just all the makings. Everything was just there for high scores. Right now they're struggling a little bit. I think my record's safe this week already, but I'm sure things are going to pick up.
How was the
there.
trip to the bank? Short, long?
I let my wife do that.
Oh, I knew that would happen. Okay, Ron Williams and Walter Ray Williams, and thank you, Bob Learn. Shooting first, Walter Ray.
Chris, what we've seen so far is just longer oil. It's farther down the lane this week, and it favors a little straighter shot like Walter Ray's throwing now.
We haven't seen Ron Williams for a while. It's nice to have him back. He won 2 in 1993, AC Delco and the Cleveland Open. This week he had a 300, one of 13 here at Carolere Lanes, not here on these temporary Brunswick lanes.
Hold it, Bob. Yeah.
Most unusual style, though.
Well, Chris, I grew up around him in the St. Louis area, and he's since moved to Fort Worth, Texas. But he's always been, you know, been able to live with his style. He has a kind of a winning game. He has a little more spin or side spin on the ball than most of the players that we see on a regular basis. And what that does is it allows him to bowl on drier lane surfaces where his ball doesn't overreact. When they get a little bit slick, as sometimes they do on a tour, Ron has struggled somewhat.
Hold it.
There you go. All right.
3-6-10.
Seeing some tougher spares. They line very tight outside between the first and second arrows. Ron delivers the ball high. 3-6-10. He'll stand to the left, go across lane. He's nipped the 3 on the right side. The ball do the rest of the work on the 6-10.
All right, marking with a spare. He's complained about a flash on a camera off to our right.
Yeah, Chris, I think that's something the players are going to have to get used to. We're in auditoriums every week. It's a little different environment. Obviously, they have to make some adjustments, but they have to live with that and concentrate past that.
Amen. Walter Ray now with a double, be shooting in the 3rd frame. Players can really hear the fans in what they say. Walter Ray's Casey, he loves it. Come on! Rutgers University, 48,000 students on 3 campuses.
6 pins, 2nd pin on the right-hand part of your screen, just boom, right around the top of the 10. That is the solid 10.
And now Ron Williams back up. Open with a strike, marked with a spare. 3rd frame. How about a profile, Nelson?
Unusual style of Ron Williams, good athlete. He starts in a normal setup position, kind of a 4-step delivery, quick push away, but he saves the whole thing at the top of his swing as he goes around. It's just his push away that's unusual. Has an extremely good loft over the foul line, excellent shot, and when he is on, he can do it. Remember, he made 9 straight telecasts back in the old King of the Hill days in '93, so he knows how to win.
Mary.
All right, that double puts him into a 1-pin lead here at Rutgers Athletic Center. Look at that crowd.
1 minute.
Hundreds have come to the Rutgers campus to watch the finals of the Johnny Petraglia Open. First match was won by Walter Ray Williams, Jr., 217, to Pete Weber's 201. Now he trails by a pin. He has a spare up against Ron Williams. Walter Ray shooting in the 4th frame.
All right, come on, Kurt.
Let's go to Nelson.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. With me, the man who has the very best record in the history of bowling on television, the PBA, Danny Wiseman, 23-6. Danny, any special reason why you're so tough on TV?
I guess I try to go one shot at a time and do the best I can do, and hopefully I just come out ahead, and so far it's been so good. So I just hope that it continues today, and it's one of those things. I'm very happy with it and hope it continues.
Well, he's very tough, Chris, and we'll see what happens in the next match.
Okay, and Walter Ray Williams showing his toughness. With the double has regained a 9-pin lead. Here's Ron Williams now. 5th frame for Ron. 34-year-old professional. 4 titles.
Harriet. Yeah.
Okay, Bo.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. Pete Weber, kind of breaking out of your slump, but nothing went your way the first game, pal.
Oh, man, Bo, it's just one of them things that, I threw a good shot and hit the pocket, blow out 7-10, and then I think that just took it right out of me. I was so pumped up, and that was just a big letdown, and I think that really took it out of me.
In years past, Peter, that didn't take the wind out of your sails, pal. You getting older?
Yeah, Bo, I've been out here almost 20 years now. It's getting real hard, but I'm learning. I'm back. I'm focused. I'll be back again.
All right, pal. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, and that is for sure. You could take Pete's message. One of the Triple Crown guys. This is the Hall of Famer, Walter Ray Williams Jr. He's strung 3 now, and only 1 pin separates him, and Walter Ray with a strike coming up on the left lane can regain the lead. Nip and tuck seesaw. Page Pennington, who, like her world champion horseshoe pitcher, can pitch him. Even when Dave D'Entremont doesn't make the top 24, he still keeps busy, very busy. "30-year-old top seed Steve Jaros of Bolingbrook, Illinois. Background music by the fabulous Infernos, 9 of them. They've really been entertaining the crowd, and so have the professional bowlers.
7th frame, Ron Williams up there, trails by 9 in a seesaw match. Williams can retake the lead with a 5th consecutive strike. Here we go.
Get up.
A 10.
Huh.
Ron Williams has left a lot of 10 pins all week, and his trouble has been missing the 10 pin. He missed a number of 10 pins during the week and 2-8 combinations, so it's imperative he make this one against Walter Ray.
And he did it with ease. Nonchalantly stepped up there, Bo, and released it. And there's Bonnie.
All right, let's look at the scenario. Through 7 frames, Walter Ray Williams Jr., a 10-pin lead. He has a possible 279. Ron Williams, a possible 259. High scores once again.
Get up. Yeah.
And that's the shot that has gotten him here this week, Chris. He carried the light hit better than any player I observed in the top 24 Thursday and Friday. And he was leading for a while. Steve Jaros just overtook him on Friday, but that's where he lives. More consistent strikes when he's light. Now Walter Ray.
5 in a row and a 20-pin lead. Walter Ray won the first match, and he just joined us over Pete Weber, 217 to 201. He had 6 strikes.
Walter's just a natural. This is the one he really, really wants, because no matter what Ron Williams does in his last 2 frames, he can't shut out Walter if Walter strikes.
Okay, folks, if you like the poem Trees, it was written right here on the Rutgers campus by Joyce Kilmer.
I like the poem, Chris.
Okay. And set to music, it's equally beautiful.
That I'm not sure I've heard. Now, Ron Williams needs to throw a strike to stay in the match. There's that light hit.
Oh, yes, in the 9th frame. He shrugged his shoulders on that one, loosened up.
Just a bit outside. Wow. Oh, boy. All right.
This one puts him right back in the match. He trails by 20, and he could cut it to 10. He'll force Walter to mark with a strike.
Get up.
2.
He doesn't get this ball quite as wide as the previous frame. The ball just kind of slides by, avoids the 2-8 double wood split, leaves the 2-pin a spare here. He'll have a potential 238, and that may not be enough.
That single 2-pin and a single 10-pin are the most often missed single-pin spares. They all both look simple, don't they?
Well, they do, Chris, and a lot of the 2-pin is somewhat carelessness plus a little heavier oil concentration in the center of the lane. The player doesn't quite get over the hump, and he sails by the 2-pin. Now a full count gives Ron Williams 238. 233. And that puts Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the driver's seat. Ron just doesn't get the full lift on the ball. You see that spin? That's what Ron has to get a little bit less of on today's synthetic lane surfaces to make it work. He's left Walter Ray Williams an open door. He steps right in.
Tremendous, complete professional bowler. 6'2" 180-pound Walter Ray Williams. Match play, he was 15-9.
And that's one of the keys. You get a 30-pin bonus for each match you win in a 24-game match play finals, and often that's the difference in between making the top 5 and not getting there.
Remember, this is his 4th time on TV in '96. 2 wins and 1 second. He won in Kennewick and the Showboat in Las Vegas.
Showboat, one of the most exciting of all times, as he threw 3 strikes in the 10th to defeat Brian Leclerc. 258, 257. A strike here will give Walter 279 in his second game.
Ron Williams, 233. Danny Weissman is Walter Ray's next opponent. This week's Winning Never Gets Old bowling tip features Hall of Famer Mark Roth. Here's Bo.
And now ABC Sports Professional Bowlers Tour presents another Winning Never Gets Old bowling tip. Brought to you by Comfort Inns and Suites.
Mark Roth, 4-time PBA Player of the Year and the man who dominated professional bowling in the 1970s with his signature arm swing, tremendous loft and wrist action. And Mark, you sure moved the pins back then. You still look pretty good now.
Thank you, Bo.
Now, Mark, you still bowl the tour in an active manner. However, the game's changed a little bit. Half the tournaments we bowl now are on synthetic or non-wood lanes. Do you still use that same technique of loft and lift?
Not really, Bo. I still keep the lift, but on synthetic lanes, you want to get the ball down early for a good roll. As you see here, I have a bar to remind me to get the ball down short, good roll, good back ends, and great pin carry.
Tip from Mark Roth. Put a metal bar out over the foul line so you get down lower, roll the ball earlier on synthetic lanes, and you'll find your scores will rise. And remember, winning never gets old.
This ABC Professional Bowlers Tour Winning Never Gets Old bowling tip has been brought to you by Comfort Inns and Suites.
There are gut balls and gutter balls. And sometimes the trophy falls. But no matter what, you'll love the bowlers who have it all on ABC Sports Home Video, Bowling the Perfect Game. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR to order bowling's colorful history. Narrated by Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. This collector's home video can be yours to enjoy for only $14.98 plus $3.95 shipping. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
With 6 strikes in the first game, 217-201, Walter Ray Williams marched on against Ron Williams. 11 strikes, 279 to Ron's 233. Now Danny Weissman and Walter Ray Williams Jr. On the right, Bill Mushnick, TV columnist for the New York Post. In the middle, Lee Livingston, proprietor, and his wife Lonnie of Caroler Lanes. 3 lovely people. Debbie Mushnick is out of sight, but she's beautiful.
And here's the numbers on the tournament, Chris. An all-time record Pro-Am through the weekend. 3,654 players in the Pro-Am. 210 pros went to the starting gate. They bowled 42 games, 18 qualifying, 24 finals. The attendance this week was over 18,000 people. And here's some of the top 24. Randy Peterson, who was in contention last week. Joe Firpo with that golden arm swing. The Buzzsaw, 13th place. He's the defending champion. Norm Duke, 3 consecutive perfect games this week. Tony Rosamilla, one of the guys I like a lot, a favorite in this area. Justin Romit, Butch Soper, and Joe Krakovich will round out the top 24. Joe's a senior player who donated part of his check to the Tournament of Champions of all things.
That's nice. And our 2 stops coming up, the Bud Light Championship out on beautiful Long Island, Stony Brook University. That's right, arena bowling again. And it doesn't stop there. We go to Chicago, Palatine, Illinois, Brunswick World Tournament of Champions, first of the Triple Crown events. Those are the next 2 weeks here on ABC Sports Professional Bowlers Tour. And now the handshake Walter Ray Williams Jr. with 2 wins. Danny Wiseman, the number 2 seed, coming in for the first time today on these temporary Brunswick lanes on the Rutgers University campus.
What a tremendous record this fellow has. It's almost unbelievable that he could be 23-6 with a 232 average against all the top pros.
High hit, leaving the 3-6-10.
We've seen that hit on the left-hand lane by Ron Williams in the previous game. He converted easily with getting the ball to the right of the 3-pin. And it's pretty apparent to all the people watching that the left-hand lane hooks a little bit more. Danny didn't guess that in the first shot and drifted high.
Professional bowlers were getting with the quaffs. Well, we're getting some hairdos, aren't we?
This is the most hair we've ever had among 5 players this week. Pete Weber with a full deck, of course. Ron Williams, they don't short him on any, and Walter's got it everywhere. So we'll see what happens here as the bearded one attacks the pins.
Enough of the ring and pins. Come on.
That's a shot of we don't see very often. Our ABC camera shooting through the back of the pin deck. It's 29.5 inches from the point the ball falls off the pin deck to the kickback, and our camera's right behind that. Walter left a 10-pin. So you have 29.5 inches between this pin and your camera.
Oh, did you know that intercollegiate football started on a plot of ground not far from here in 1869? That's right, November 6, 1869. Rutgers defeated Princeton 6-4. 50 combatants, 100 spectators. And then 100 years later, I had the pleasure of doing the anniversary game right here with Bud Wilkinson.
Oh, my.
Oh, my. Princeton won that one 29-zip with an overflow crowd of 31,000.
Fine heritage in this school. They made the Final Four in basketball in 1976.
Good boy, Bo. You're getting that basketball history.
I don't know, pal. Just looking at the banners around this stadium.
Danny Wiseman showing his skill. Very smooth and beautiful to watch from Baltimore.
Danny, who tapes up his hand in a number of places. He's got tape all over his hand to protect it, basically, on his fingers, on his thumb. It actually allows him to get out of the ball a little bit smoother. While the players use slugs or plugs in the thumb hole, he kind of accommodates it with basically a bandage. Right now, he can take the lead, 3rd frame. Bad guess. He knew he went high on a good shot in the 1st frame. He moves a little bit farther left as his mother looks on. Danny leaves the 2-pin, and it's the same combination we've seen lead twice on this left-hand lane. Ron Williams leaves the 3-6-10. Then the 10th frame, he leaves the 2-pin. So that looks like the lane you have to conquer.
Okay, Danny's mom, Dorothy Wiseman Potter, married Jerry Potter. Now Walter Ray.
The full approach for Walter Ray, 17 feet of approach to accommodate a player. You can use all you want. You can start back in the stands if he likes.
Here.
That's a double. And that's a 10-pin lead.
No, something like that.
Three in a row, a 20-pin lead. We're in the semifinal match. Lewis Brown Athletic Center at Rutgers. You know, bowling is not the only sport taking place this weekend on the campus. There is also rowing. There they are, the hundreds who have come to the Rutgers campus to see another finals in the arena. Danny Wiseman is in the semifinal game. He was the number 2 seed going against Walter Ray Williams, if you just joined us, who has won 2 matches. Leads by 20 now. Danny with the spare up, shooting in the 4th frame. The 7-pin for Danny. It's only his 13th TV appearance as compared to the 80th for Walter Ray. It's the second, however, for Danny here in '96. He was third in the Oregon Open. Remember when he was second in the Firestone Tournament of Champions in 1991? Spare in the fourth, and here's Nelson Byrne Jr.
Thank you, Chris. Ron, you bowled real well, 230-something. Walter had a big game, but the left-hand lane had to be the key. What's the difference out there?
The left lane started a little more wet dry. It means the heads were drying up a little bit more, and the lane was getting slicker down the lane. And I was trying to adjust with my speed, and I was off a few shots, but overall I bowled pretty good, and looking forward to the next week.
You think Jaros will have a good shot in the championship match?
Yeah, him and Walter are probably going to be pretty close. They got kind of the same game, and they can go down the lane with that end-over-end roll, and I think they're going to be a high-scoring match and a good one.
Ron, you look good again. Good luck next week.
Thanks, Bill.
Back to you, Chris.
Okay, 4, 6, 7. Danny Weissman beginning to have trouble, as Pete Weber did earlier. Tried for the conversion to no avail. It's an open frame in the fifth, 85-5. Walter Ray Williams is up, has 3 in a row, shooting in the fifth. And increases lead to 45 with a strike here on the right lane. Here's Bo.
Hey, thank you, Chris. Our tournament lead at Steve Jaros. So Steve, the left lane looks like a big difference between the right lane and the left lane, and Walter Ray's got the clue. What do you think about it?
Well, I'm not really sure. The couple practice shots I had, it looks like they're starting to become a little bit wet dry, so I think speed control is going to be a little bit of a key, and just getting out of the ball really clean.
You're a great grind-out bowler. In other words, you bowl good on tough conditions. How do you like this high-scoring environment?
You know, everybody's telling me that. The scores are just something that's starting to become every week. We really see some great scores. It's forced me to adjust to it or go home early a lot, so hopefully it'll work out.
All right, he's a tough competitor. Chris, he'll be in the final.
Okay. Walter Ray has strung 5, 55-pin lead after an open. A single pin again, the 4-pin in this case. Like Walter Ray, Danny's using full approach. Walter Ray a little more, about a length of a shoe. So it's an open of the fifth, a spare in the sixth for Danny. Coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, special performances from the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions Plus. A key race on the road to the Kentucky Derby. It's the Wooden Memorial presented by Visa. That's next here on ABC Sports. The Sport of Kings, Bo.
Well, Danny has to go to the whip right now, or he'll have no chance in this race.
A 7.
The good, bad, and the ugly. He's been all around the high and light, and he throws a really good shot and leaves a solid 7.
Fans starting to give him support. Some morale boosting here.
I think he's going to need a little more than that, partner. He's 56 behind a zeroed-in, dead-eye Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Danny Weissman going against Walter Ray Williams, who's won 2 already. You know, the winter thaw has finally come to New Jersey, which means it's back to nature time. Great group, the Inferno, in the background as we look at the awesome Scarlet Knight, mascot of the athletic endeavors of Rutgers University. Scarlet Knight. Walter Ray asking the crowd to give everyone around. Here he is now on the right lane, 5 in a row, shooting in the 7th frame, leading by 56. Leading by 66.
Somebody caught one of Walter Ray Williams Jr.'s balls that he threw out in the opening. Each player throws out some gifts to the crowd, and that young man was a proud owner of it. Right now, Danny Weissman is probably the only guy that's not really happy in this building. He's just getting whitewashed here. He's 66 behind, may go 76.
A 10. The man I nicknamed many years ago, Errol Flynn, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
Got the 8 out. I'm happy.
A little sardonic statement by Walter Ray. Had a weak shot down there, almost left an 8-10 split, got the 8 out. That's what he's saying.
All right. Sparing the 8s. Now, Danny Weissman, 6-time champion in his 8 years as a professional, won his first title in his hometown in a bowling establishment formerly owned by the then Baltimore Colts, Johnny Unitas.
Confused. Danny is confused. He's in, out, up, down, and really it's very simple. The oil is carried way down the lane. Walter Ray Williams Jr. has straightened his shot out, and that's one of the key things that makes Walter so good. He's throwing almost a perfectly straight, simple ball, and Danny Wiseman does not have that shot in his bag.
Okay. Tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central and Pacific on ABC Sports, Arnold Palmer and Gary Player hit the links in Hawaii on Shell's Wonderful World of Golf. Then it's the NHRA Slick 50 Nationals from Houston, and 6-time champion Al Unser Jr. goes for another win at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. That's all tomorrow here on ABC Sports. Bowling has been on ABC Sports for 35 years. High fives. Big strike in the ninth, Bo.
Well, a little cosmetic for Danny, who is going to finish third. Walter Ray also having the luxury of a little victory lap here in the semifinal.
And after that strike, Danny's mom gave him the thumbs up along with his lady friend, Tori Romeo. And he smiled. There she is. Dorothy. Walter Ray, 6 strikes in his first win over Pete Weber, 11 in his win over Ron Williams, and he keeps rolling along. He had strung 5, then a spare, now he's a double.
Let's see. Maybe a slight adjustment here.
Well, the luxury of an experimental shot as he's going into the championship match against Steve Jaros. He's trying to get a little more angle in the pocket. Here he goes.
6-time World Horseshoe Pitching Champion.
One more.
Well, let's see if he experiments off that.
I don't want to fall over.
.267 to go along with a .279 and a .217.
Danny finishing out. If he can finish with 3 more strikes, we'll have a .203, a creditable score, but not enough today. Well, let's talk about something in the 170s now. 4-9 split.
Said he'd leave with a $10,000 check.
Ain't so bad.
No.
Might as well give this a go, Danny. Just have some fun with it.
.171 says goodbye to the crowd. Congratulations, Walter Ray. .267 to .171. This ABC Sports presentation, the Professional Bowlers Tour, will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. The #1 ranked bowler in the world has just won 3 matches, marking 27 strikes in the 3 victories, and now goes against the tournament leader, Steve Jaros of Bolingbrook, Illinois. Last week, a 300 game for Bob Learn Jr. and a 279 for the man. The tournament is named for Johnny Petraglia.
How you doing, Chris? Great being back here. It's just been a wonderful week, and I'm looking forward to a real exciting last match.
It starts out with a huge pro-am and American wheelchair bowlers.
Well, we had 3,500 AMs, 800 of them being juniors, and in the wheelchair tournament, they were just tremendous. Martin Frost, he just paired with Danny Wiseman, just killed them all week long. This is Jim Lane letting the ball go. He was paired with Mark Williams, and then I'm sorry, yes, he was paired with Mark Williams, and then Walt Roy was paired with Rich Wolf. They were the top 3 teams out of 12 that made it. They averaged a couple of them near 200.
Isn't that great?
Calderon from Detroit, Michigan, the paralyzed vet that helped put us all together. Just great.
Chris,
and Big Al.
And Big Al.
Big Al,
UTEC was in
UTEC
fifth
bowled
place, but
tremendous
you know,
all week.
it was an interesting match. Danny Wiseman's team won 260 and 215. John going this final match. Obviously, you had a favorite out here.
I think Deadeye is really dead-eyed in. Jarrett's going to have to blow a big game to beat him.
By the way, tell your mom, Grace, continued good luck.
I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you.
Here's the handshake now for that final game. Steve Jaros is 30 years old, a right-hander from Bolingbrook, Illinois. 2 championships, 12 regional titles. Neat guy to go along with it.
Well, Jaros has a good record from the #1 position. He's 1-1. The only time he lost was when Danny Wiseman ran over everybody in Erie last year. So I think he'll give Walter Ray all he can handle. Jaros has that medium speed that I think will fit this pair.
Jaros is wearing a wireless microphone, and like Walter Ray, whom you've heard often today.
Simple technique for Walter Ray. Is key to his great ability is his arm acceleration. See how he just snaps through it?
Well, wow. 2, 4, 5.
Well, here Walter Ray has a little bit of speed and not enough hook, as he says. 2, 4, 5. It's the first really difficult spare he's had to face all day. Excellent technique. He'll kill the ball. You'll hear it hitting the thumb hole.
All ages, all sizes, come here, and wherever we go, John Petraglia, and watch bowling. .28th strike of the afternoon for Walter Ray.
Here's kind of a key shot for Jaros. We've seen that everybody struggle with the left-hand lane. He knows what to do on the left, but that means the right is going to be different for him. So he has to make a little different shot here. This is important.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Watch this unusual pin action. Throws an excellent shot, almost leaves the 7-9. These Brunswick 3-pound, 6-ounce pins. No match for that powerful ball that Jaros throws, and he breaks up the 7-9. Tough break. That ball should strike Chris 99 out of 99. That's just really a bad break. That's very unusual. As you look at fiance and mother looking on, rooting for Steve.
Wendy Wilson, fiance, and Helen Jaros is Steve's partner in a pro shop. Fox Lanes in Downers Grove, Illinois. 50-50.
I don't think a shot like that will unnerve a Jaros. He's a good grind-out bowler. Hey, see Jaros with a little extra speed leaves the 2-5. We've seen Walter convert it or a similar spare in the first frame. Let's see Jaros' angle of attack. Not good. Jaros attacks the spare a little bit differently than Walter Ray, and the ball kind of hooks by the 2-pin, and it slides by the 5. Open door for Deadeye.
7-pin for Walter Ray, coming up high.
Well, Walter Ray a little bit confused. He thought he was completely zeroed on the pair, and then he goes light in the first frame on the left lane, solid on the left-hand lane, then he goes light. So he's a little confused. This match is up for grabs.
The Inferno in the background as we are going to take a look now at the championship trophy that this week's winner will take home and keep. Carol?
The Professional Bowlers Tour on ABC Sports. Brought to you by McDonald's. Have you had your break today? Quaker Steak, the motor oil that exceeds the highest standards for engine protection. And Yard Machine, American-made, American-owned.
In Piscataway, New Jersey, you're looking and listening to the Infernos. 9 guys. They're terrific, and we've had 5 terrific bowlers today. Walter Ray Williams started at the beginning against Pete Weber, and now he's in the final game against this man, Steve Jaros, of Bolingbrook, Illinois. His first title came in Edmond, Oklahoma, choice. And then last year, you remember, he bowled and finished second in Erie. 1-1 in the top spot, and a wobbly 4 on the right lane. Steve, one of the powerful guys on tour at 6'1" and 175. Beautifully covered. As we go to Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Danny, third place check, not too bad, but you kind of made a tactical error out there in your adjustments, I think.
Yeah, I figured after 4 games of lanes being bowled on, I was going to have to open up a little bit, and wrong move. Should have went more right to left like Walter's doing. That's the correct play today, and I just screwed up. You know, next week's a new week, and we'll just start all over again. That's all I can do.
All right, good attitude and a good lesson from Danny Wiseman. When you have trouble, move right and go a little straighter. Back to you, Chris.
Okay. Steve Jaros gets his second strike, incoming in the 5th frame in the championship battle against Walter Ray Williams Jr., who has 1 strike, 3 spares, now shooting in the 5th frame. Very close match. This is for the title and $35,000.
Like a pro bowler in the background there. Come on.
Colorful ball is for the spares.
Well, this match is going to come down to the last 5 frames. Walter fished around. He knows where he's got to go. Jaros has had 5 frames. He only trails by 11 pins, so he knows he's still in the match, and we'll see what happens. It won't be as high scoring as we normally see, but this is match game play.
And Bo, speaking of match play, we're at Rutgers, where the first intercollegiate bowling championship took place. Well, I'll get to that after this.
Well, Walter Ray's reaction, but tell me more about that, partner.
Chuck Pisano, as a collegian Rutgers student, won the first intercollegiate national match play title.
Wow, that's great. I know there's 840-some scholarships for college or financial help as Jaros doubles up and closes the match down to just 1 pin. Jaros making sure his thumb is nice and clean. The most important part of the delivery is clearing the thumb hole earlier than the fingers. There's fiance and mother, proud of Steve. As right now he can take the lead in the match for the first time. 7th frame, trails by 1, can make it 9.
I agree.
All right. Take the spare.
You can see the ball on both players, Walter Ray and Jaros. The ball is kind of hooking out, as we call it. Starts to hook, starts to hook. You see it straighten out just before it gets to the pins. That is not what they're really looking for. You don't mind the ball straightening out after it gets to the pin deck, but not before it reaches the pins. It's losing power at that point.
All right. Walter Ray, strike up in the 6th, now shooting in the 7th. 3-pin lead.
Walter!
Walter leads by 3. He can extend that lead to 13, 7th frame. Walter, a little more experience than Jaros. He knows his ball was kind of hooking out. He moved a little to the right with his feet and increased the ball speed and drove it straight back. Such little things as Paige Pennington, his wife, looks on, make the difference.
All right, come on.
Walter thinks he can stuff this one like he did on the right-hand lane, but it doesn't work on that left-hand lane as well because it hooks a pinch more. He breaks the 4-9 split down spare here. He'll still lead by 12, 2 frames left. Jaros, good all-around bowler, 1 frame at a time. That's what he does best.
And now the big night coming up. Steve Jaros, seated first. 14-10 in match play. What's he doing now, Bo?
Putting a little like powder on his thumb, make sure he gets out the back side of the ball. You very seldom hang on the front side of your thumb, just on the back. This is the big shot, as you just said, Chris. He'll cut that lead to 2 and still leave himself wide open to win the match in the 10th.
Come on.
Oh, 4. Walter Ray Williams, 18 titles. Would you believe this? He's finished second 25 times.
The equilateral triangle of a bowling pin, each pin 12 inches apart in an equilateral triangle. You got a good shot of that. Walter only knocking down 90% of the potential. Right now, Walter Ray Williams Jr. with a spare here would have a 11-pin lead going into the 10th frame. He could strike spare to lock up the match. The best Jaros can do is 205. Walter going at a 206 pace. Okay, here's the shot that Walter Ray wants. This is the one that basically will lock up the tournament. A great player like Walter has what we call a Sunday ball, and this will be it. He'll give it all he's got.
Come on, baby! Yeah!
Jaros slides about 2 inches down the seat, partner, as Walter Ray Williams Jr. needs a mark of any type, strike or spare, and he's the champion.
Wife Paige nervously watching this champion. He has come within $50,000 of the all-time money earned held by Pete Weber. So Walter Ray, 19th PBA title, 6 World Horseshoe titles.
216 for Deadeye, the champ.
Paige Pennington, the bride.
Jaros just finishing out. Potential 205 will not be enough. Jaros finishing the match. Hope you'll stay with us. We'll be right back with the final money and trophy presentation and final score. And the final, Walter Ray Williams Jr. wins his 19th PBA title, 216 to 195, $34,000 for the man. And down to you, Chris.
And here he is. A round of applause for Walter Ray Williams Jr. Thanks, Chris. Wow, that's great. It's fun to bowl in an arena when you got so many fans cheering for everybody. It's great. What a great crowd.
And of course, Walter, you're a graduate of Cal Poly. Maybe you could come here and get a master's or a PhD.
Well, I think I'm still making a good living bowling, so maybe way off for a couple of years.
I agree. Speaking of a good living, Lee Livingston is our friend and proprietor of Carolina Lanes, where the 42 games were played prior to today's finals. And M-O-N-E-Y, he has it.
All the way with Walter Ray, $34,000 on behalf of Carolina and Brunswick Corporation. Great show, Walter.
Thanks a lot, Lee. I'd like to thank Lee and all the staff, Jack at the Carolina Lanes and Brunswick for helping support the tournament. And Johnny Petraglia is a good friend of mine. It's great. It's awesome.
Now, from another great champion, Johnny Petraglia, the tournament's namesake. Johnny, we congratulate you and Lee. And the mic is yours for about 40 seconds or so.
Well, thank you, Chris. Walter, #1 bowler in the world right now. It's only fitting that you get #1 this week. It's tremendous performance, and #1 on Riker Cup team, too. We'll be bowling that in a couple of weeks. Great job, Walter. Just fabulous.
We have to mention the bride, Paige, who was over there rooting for you, and she's still over there. Great support.
Yeah, she's been supporting me for a long time. Unfortunately, the last show at the showboat, she was not feeling well. She had to watch from our trailer, and she was yelling and screaming, I guess, from there. I think she did some yelling and screaming over there. I'm not sure, but she's been a great support of mine, and I guess married life's not doing me too bad.
What next for you, quickly, Walter Ray? Long Island?
I'm going to take the week off and then go to the Brunswick World Tournament Champions and get ready for that. Take a little bit of R&R for this next week, and hopefully I'll be in great shape next week.
Congratulations. Thanks, John and Lee. So long to you. We'll see you in Long Island next week. Arena Bowling. For Bo, I'm Chris Schenkel. Goodbye.
The executive producer of ABC Sports is Jack O'Hara. Today's telecast of the Professional Bowlers Tour was produced by Carol Letty. Directed by Norm Samet. Technical Director Michael Carmen. Associate Director Fred King. Production Manager Mike Webb. Technical Manager Richard Reed. Stage Manager Tom Gatewood. Assistant to the producer Kevin D. Miller.